The Garden Report is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, Buddy Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report on the floor once.
Yeah,
the
we're
normal
back.
floor
Yeah,
that people love.
They didn't rip it up yet, so we have time.
Josue Pavon here after the Celtics beat the Knicks 114-98. And what I said, Josue was truly one of the better Joe Mazzulla wins we've seen in his tenure. Rock solid defense. Some good execution offensively that led to big nights for both Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Tatum's finishing this game 6 of 8 in the fourth quarter with 4 threes, shooting the Celtics far ahead of the Knicks in what was pretty much a one-possession game for much of it. Celtics trailed by 8 right around halftime, so they overcame a deficit in this one as well and managed this game well from a turnover standpoint, defensively, as we talked about, and passing. I thought great for Tatum in this one until he had to take over late, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, he closed it out. He closed the Knicks out, and I think that's what you're supposed to do when you're the superstar of the team, the leading scorer. I mean, I think when you have so many other weapons that can not only produce offensively but create stops, and obviously the Celtics, I mean, they did build a small lead, or at least one that was, you got the feeling that they were gonna finally, leave them in the dust, right? Leave the Knicks in the dust. But then they got into foul trouble. Like, getting out at halftime, getting into the penalty as early as they did, I felt like really helped the Knicks find their momentum as they were trying to just create that space. They did go ahead of the Celtics at some points, but I feel like what Tatum's doing, though, is he's super efficient right now because of that help, because he's matured so much in his approach and his offense and as a playmaker. I mean, across the board. So I think right now you're seeing everything come together, and it's such a collaboration where I feel like last year when things weren't going well, or if they're on the wrong end of a scoring run, especially late in the fourth, it was either panic mode or it was either, everyone had their own agenda. This isn't the case now with this team. Maybe not late in the fourth, but you know what I mean? Like, in that fourth quarter, sometimes you got the sense it was like a 50-50 chance, regardless of what team they're playing against. This one, you got that same type of energy in the sense of, like, you felt like it was a playoff game. We talked about that in the post-game show, but the collaborative approach on both ends of the floor, and to have Tatum close things out, I think that's what makes this team so hard to beat. And the New York Knicks, like, this was their best effort. This was, they kept swinging. They really fought throughout and tried to just claw their way back. But when it came down to it, when Tatum went off the way he did in the fourth quarter, there was little that they could do to come back.
That closing stretch got Tatum up to 40% from 3 for the season, which we haven't seen him do much since the early seasons of his career. Right. So great to see him get that three-point shot back. That makes him all the more dangerous. But the pass, a big part of what he did tonight as well. Knicks threw double teams at him, which he hasn't seen a ton of, given the starting lineup they have out there. Nice pass to Sam Hauser in the first quarter, gave the Celtics a lead there. Some dump-offs to White in the lane, passing into the seam. Something he's great at. And he was patient, poised against the double teams, and got the ball to spots, and even connected with Jaylen at a few different points, which we don't always see as well. Utilizing Porzingis' screens to get downhill, splitting double teams. He's just such an effective passer and ball handler at the head of the offense at this point that even though there'll be stretches of turnovers, even though there might be a few stagnant sets, when you combine his willingness to get off the ball and shot making this one, not only from 3, but the mid-rangers throughout the flow of this game really paced the Celtics well too. He was in full control for this one. Yeah,
no question. And again, I think that support, it helps him a lot. I think he has a lot more energy at the end of the games now, right? I feel like, I mean, it's early. I guess everyone sort of has that going right now, but it's different, especially when you're playing at a level where, like you said, the double teams are coming at you. You have to play really smart. The margin of error is super thin, and he just looks very comfortable in that spot. And I love that for him, obviously, because we've seen him grow to the player that he is now, the superstar that he is now. And I think he'll only be better throughout the season. I mean, people can talk about the MVP race and talk about, he's got to win that championship, but this is how it starts. This is how you want to get off, in the first 3 weeks of the season. You drop 2 in a row. Now you get a chance. You've seen a couple of these teams for the second time, and like Joe Mazzulla said after this game, finding other ways to win. It's not always gonna look the same, and because of that, it shows how dimensional this team truly is.
It's a great point. They'll win in different ways throughout the season, and tonight I thought was a great formula of defense, passing, and the shot making late from Tatum.
FanDuel is the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
As far as that MVP point goes, and we'll check in throughout the year, tough to match Jokic right now.
Yeah,
Luka's done amazing things in Dallas, and I'd even throw Anthony Edwards into this conversation now, too, given the start Minnesota has had.
Is it because the back and forth with Draymond, or just in general?
Oh, the great finish against Boston. Denver, he beat handily, and now, as you said, the Warriors. So he's stacking them up there, and it's going to be tough for Tatum. It is. Just the inconsistency of his shooting night to night sometimes. Right. The team he has around him.
Yeah. It's still super early.
It's early, but I don't see it. There's some great performers in front of him who do a lot more.
Really? You don't think he can catch up? I just feel like it's better this way than last year, where I felt like the MVP conversation was starting like less than a month into the season, and it was just like everyone was just, oh, where's Tatum at? Where's Tatum at? And I feel like it was a distraction in a sense, you know?
Right.
Like this team, they had, speaking of last year, right? Yeah, they had just come off an appearance in the NBA Finals, but it was like they need to focus on finding their identity instead of trying to see, Tatum's trajectory for the season.
I want to ask at one point how important it is to him, because Joe did say during training camp, I think he'd much rather win a championship than MVP.
I think that's true. I think that's 100% true, because I think he realizes how difficult it is, and I think he knows that that's what it takes to become an all-time great, Celtic. When you have guys like Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett saying like, you can do it. Not only can you do it, but Pierce said this years ago that he's gonna have a better career than I did, and obviously that includes winning a championship. So I think all that
us, right?
goes a long way. He did say that to us. Yeah, I was literally thinking to myself, I was like, wait, where did he say that? I'm like, I think he said it to us. Yeah, that's right. And that was just last year. And you look at him as where he is in his career as an individual, but now to put him on this team surrounded with so much talent and the revamped coaching staff, everything is falling into place for him, and you see his dedication. You're hearing nothing but great things from the coaching staff and his approach as a leader, and that's just sort of inevitable. But is it going to be this year? I mean, it's his best chances, but we'll see.
Tatum Central, this big win over the Knicks, 114-98. Brown great in this one as well. Contributions up and down the board.
Great
defensively. Great game all around. I was super impressed with this one. And the Celtics should be as well as they head out on this 4-game road trip. We'll have coverage in Philly as well as Memphis on Sunday. That Marcus Smart rematch is here already, believe it or not. And Josue Pavon going to join me in Philly.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you guys then. Check out our next video on Drew Holiday and all the post-game reaction here tonight from the win over New York on CLNS Media.